Today we're going to be covering fishing. Now, the fishing seems simple, but there's a couple of things that they do not tell you about that you either wind up learning from other players, from doing YouTube searches, things like this. First of all, food items along with fishing with a buddy stack. Alright? So that means I can drink a fisherman's brew, a fish stew, a sashimi, a sushi, and a trout dinner, and all of those will stack. And if I'm fishing with a buddy, that stacks as well. So, we'll get into these in a minute. What I do is I have kept a list alphabetically of all the star grade placeable animals that I have caught. I've broken them down to fish, crustacean, amphibian, and insect. Then I want to finish off my fishing because there's the least amount that I need for the Bahari and Kilima fishing achievement. So I went into my fishing accomplishments, found the one for this one, figured out which ones that I was missing, took the data, then I condensed it further. So now I know what fish it is, what bait I need, and when I can fish for it. Alright? These are the ones that I'm missing. The problem is some of these, like the storm ray, the ribbon tail ray, the void ray, especially those, they jump a lot. And I've noticed that when they're jumping and I'm trying to reel them in, it just sucks all my line up or my rod health up. I figured out what's going on with that. We'll cover that as well. And it really makes a big difference. So let's move on into over here. So here you have two of them. This is collecting all the non. Okay. But you'll notice it counts every one of those fish if I have caught a starfish. So by going specifically for the starfish, I'm fulfilling both requirements. Cuts my fishing in time in half. Alright. So then I figure out which ones that I'm missing. I cross-reference that. Right now we are going after, I believe that one's the void ray. I just caught the bat ray. Now I've only caught a star bat ray. However, you notice I still get credit for it for the normal fish collector as well. That's what I'm talking about. It will save you a lot of problems on that. Alright? So you only want to fish the hot spots. I'm now going to mount, right mouse click, mount my glowworm. You'll notice here I have increases my safe zone speed. So the wider my speed, because I want to use that with this one, which buffs my rod health. So it gives me more rod health. And let's see. And this also increases reticle size. So the next thing that we're going to do before we ever cast is I'm going to eat each of these. And if you watch in my top left, you'll see I've already been fishing with someone, so I've got the group buff going there. And there you see all of them have buffed. They're all stacking. So now, when they jump into the air, release your mouse button or your reel key. This one's not going to jump. Another thing that you can do to speed this up, instead of sitting here waiting for your stuff to burn down before you get new hotspots, is you quit and you restart the game. So you're going to log in. And it should put you right back where you were. However, if you're lucky, it's going to load you onto a different server. See? So I've got my rod. My worms are still packed. And I can continue fishing, and I'm not losing as much of my buffs that I spent so much time on waiting for those to respawn. So let's get on with this, and you're going to catch a lot of those. So let's rehash a couple of things. One, if you're fishing and you've used up your hotspots, quit the game, reload. This should put you to a new server, usually, that gives you more hotspots, and then your food items are not wasted, your buffs. When fishing, several fish and so on like to jump. Sharks, some of the rays, some of the eels, different things, they'll jump into the air. Now, what we want to do is, first of all, you have your buffs. So let's say the animal jumps into the air and is going to the left. Move your cursor a little bit further to the left than where you think he's going to go. This should keep you in the yellow. If you're tracking and if he's moving to the left, you want to keep him on the far side, just inside that right side of the bracket. If they jump to the right, you want to keep him just on the inside of the left side of the bracket. Don't try to keep them in the center. Mostly it'll chew your stuff up. Also, the main thing that caused people to lose a jumping fish is when the fish is in the air, they try to continue reeling. You don't want to do this. It just chews up your rod health. And I'll show you in a minute, I'll show you one, and then we'll go into the other one. But what you want to do is, when the fish jumps into the air, you want to keep him between the cursors, as stated before, but release the reel or the retrieve button. When it hits the water, then reactivate the button until it jumps again. You will notice that your rod health will not be chewed up as much, and it will allow you to land that fish. Then if you're running all the buffs as well, it's almost a guarantee you're going to get that fish in if you have the right level of rod. Okay, so let's get started on this, and I'll show you the one. You'll see the eel jumping. See how much he uses if I keep that button down? But if I release that button when he jumps, then it doesn't chew that line up or that rod health up. So now you've seen the eel jumping. We've come back. Of course, I used up my hotspots, so I just logged out, came back in. I've got 2 more new hotspots and a person fishing next to me, so I'm going to get the fishing partner buff as well. You'll notice I will now eat my foods. You'll notice all of those stack and I get a double on my retrieve. Then we'll cast out. Set, release, reeling, release, reel him, release, reel him, release, reel him, and there you go. You notice, as soon as I release that button on that hotbar, if you go back and watch, you'll see it stops chewing up that rod health. You just got to remember, once he hits the water, to start reeling him in again. Otherwise, after a little timer, they'll get off the hook. And that is how you overcome your jumping fish. I hope this has been helpful.